Hi friends, it's Jeannie Rainey here. Welcome back to my craft room, where today we're going to be making 2 cards using the Turtle Friends bundle. We're going to start out with punching some Granny Apple Green with the tailored tag punch. With this, we're going to create a background. So using the Granny Apple Green ink, we're going to just stamp randomly. Now you can do this a number of ways. The first time I tried it with just a sheet of paper and stamping randomly and then punching out, there's always more than one way to do things. So whichever way you find it easiest to get a background using these stamps and the punch. Then we'll just try to position the best we can, leaving little spaces between each shape. Then with a pencil mark, I'm going to mark where I need to cut them down. Now I think I need a couple more, so I'm just going to quickly punch out a couple more and then stamp them to fill in my spaces. This little mini trimmer that we have was an incentive a couple years ago for signing up. Super handy having the little mini one. Again, go ahead and mark where they need to be trimmed. And I think I'm ready to adhere them together. The Take Your Pick tool is perfect for this, picking up the little pieces. I'm leaving a border around the edge, and there I'm done. Okay, now this paper is from the Pattern Party Designer Series paper. This is a host item, only available to hosts. There's 48 sheets of paper, various different designs. One side is colored and the other side is black and white, but a huge variety of prints to choose from. So we're just going to use a little 1/2 inch strip on the side, the left side of the card. Then with shimmer paper, I'm going to use the Hippo and Friends dies and cut out the die for my little turtles. Now I'm going to use the heart stamp. There's 3 hearts on there, but I just want one, so I carefully ink up just one of the hearts. The colors are polished pink and granny apple green. Then using the pool party, I'll color in the background. This is the Stampin' Blends. It's an alcohol marker. You have to be careful with alcohol markers because they actually will bleed through the paper. So make sure you have a scrap paper underneath when you're coloring. But they just blend so nicely. That's shimmer paper. Then we're going to stamp on our papaya color, the sentiment. All of the supplies I'll show at the end of each video, and you can take a screenshot. So for the ribbon, we're gonna actually fray the ends of it to give a fun look on the edges. So with your take your pick tool, just pull a thread and fray the edges. Now to start assembling, I used twine to make a bow, and I squeezed it between the cardstock and the ribbon. And then using Stampin' Dimensionals, adhere the turtles to the card front, and then the sentiment below the turtles. This technique is wonderful for adhering your card front to your card base. It helps you get it on there completely straight. So by making tags with your tear and tape, and then see, I didn't get mine perfectly straight, so because I only adhered some of the adhesive, I was able to pull it apart and straighten out my card front onto my card base. I will trim a little bit of the edge. There's a little bit of white showing. So anyways, there's that card. Now here is a list of supplies and some tips for this card you can screenshot. And I did forget to use the embossing folder, which I did on the first card, which gives a little texture to the turtles' backs. So for our next card, we're going to stamp on basic white 2 turtles, and then the sentiment, it's time to celebrate you. And then this is watercolor paper, and we're going to use Pool Party. I'm using an acrylic block for a palette, going to use my aqua or my painting brush and drip some water to create my watercolor background. I used one of the stitch dies to cut out this rectangle. Then I'm going to set this aside to dry. I did cut a 1-inch strip, and I'm going to use the brick and mortar embossing folder. Also used the other rectangle. You'll see the supplies at the end. I used the paper lattice, and then I'll color with Granny Apple Green and Crumb Cake. I always start with the light and then add the dark to get highlighting or shadowing. So I kind of went outside the line with this. So what I'm going to do is show you a technique where if you go ahead and color outside the line, when you punch, it gives a different look than having a white border. And when I show the cards at the end, you can decide what you like the best, if you like the white border around your turtle or if you like the color around the border. So I'm just going outside the edge, outside of the line with each of the colors. This way, if you punch a little bit crooked, it doesn't stand out as much. Okay, I'm getting all my components together to assemble everything. Just some glue dots on the lattice. Adhere that to my watercolor paper. Then I'm taking some seam binding ribbon and I'll tie a bow. You can see that I die cut the congrats word with dies with basic white paper, and now I'm going to adhere them to the piece that I had textured with the embossing folder. Then I trimmed a little bit of the excess paper off the edge. Now I'll be using dimensionals to adhere these components to the front of the card front. again using tear and tape to adhere this to the front. Tear and tape is a super strong tape. Be sure and burnish it on. Because this is watercolor paper, it has a little bit of texture to it, so I needed something that was super strong to hold to the cardstock, the card front. Sometimes when you use the liquid adhesive, it makes the paper warp or bubble a little bit. So there's one advantage to using the tear and tape. It stays very flat and it holds well. All right, here again, tear and tape. I only go about halfway on each side, but each corner is secured. And there you have the second card. Here's all the supplies. Take a screenshot if you want. Thanks for joining my video today. The other two cards can be seen on the Stampin' Up! YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed the class today, and be sure and share and like my videos. Again, today's focus was on Turtle Friends bundle. Thanks.